Robert Bollinger is suing ex-girlfriend Sandra Rocket for $760, money he claims he loaned her, and for belongings she refuses to return.
What happened? Tell me why you're here.
There was one time where the money exceeded, kind of, to me, a large amount, which was like $260. And upon an agreement, she asked, could she borrow some money? And she did ask to borrow, and I gave it to her, only that she was supposed to give it back the next following week.
Ms. Rocket?
That's not true. I consider it as a gift because at the time me and Robert were dating, and I asked him for some money and he gave it to me.
But you only considered it as a gift after you agreed to borrow.
No, I considered it as a gift when I asked you for it and you gave it to me. He was calling me and he was harassing me about this money. And he said, I told him, I said, well, I can give you $25 of it. He said, well, no, I need more than that. I said, well, I ain't giving you nothing. Why would you give it to me anyway? You were giving me money all the time. And then when I told him I wasn't going to give him that money back, he called my mother, he harassed my mother, he called my job.
Your Honor, I didn't harass
Yes, you
your
did.
mother.
I got the restraining order because one particular night, Robert came over to my house and I had company that night. I came to the door and I told Robert to leave, that I had company. He left, but then he came back and the police advised me to get a restraining order.
She does not want me coming to her house or calling a job to get money that she owes me. So she figured getting a restraining order keeps me coming to her job and to her house, calling her, contacting her, so that way she don't have to pay me.
What happened with the two-way radio?
I was talking to my mother on the phone one evening, and I keep hearing this beeping sound. My mother said, Sandy, what is it? I said, I don't know. I'm looking in my room, I'm following the sound, and I look up and I pull back the curtain, and it was a two-way radio.
Wait a minute, are you telling me that somebody put a two-way radio in your house?
She claims I did it, Your Honor, but I have no
it.
knowledge to that. She said, do you have anything to do with a two-way radio? And I asked her, what do you mean? She goes, don't look dumb, you know what I'm talking about. I said, no, I do not. She goes, okay, just sit there and just act all innocent. That was the full conversation.
I am kind of suspicious about this whole thing about this restraining order. I am concerned that you missed the time off from work. The only thing I'm considering now is the amount of money for the loan and the amount of money for the time that you missed work, because she was responsible for you having to come down and take time off. So you know what? I'm going to split this difference. I'm going to award you $237.60 for the time that you missed work, and I'm going to split the money for the trip and give you $100 for the loan gift / that we can't seem to resolve. Have a good day.
Kathleen O'Rourke is suing her former landlord, Rob Beelan, for $2,000 for evicting her from her apartment.
Your Honor, I rented an apartment from Rob Beelan. When he found out who my ex-husband was, and he is HIV positive, he told me he wanted me out.
When I met Kitty O'Rourke, and after I showed her the apartment, she said, look, I have $1,300 on me. How much is the rent? The rent for the apartment was $800, which is what I was previously receiving. She said, my ex-husband, Frank, he doesn't know I'm here. I don't want him to know I'm here.
Okay.
She said, because he used to beat me in the past, he abused me.
Ms. O'Rourke, did you tell him that? Is that true?
Yes, I did.
I rang the doorbell. She said, who is it? I said, it's Rob. She goes, oh, come on up. I go, what's that smell? And she says, Frank. And Frank comes in. Mr. Turano was there, and he comes and goes, you're the landlord? And he was obviously under the influence of something.
So, but you were concerned about the possibility that there was some drug abuse going on in the
Absolutely. I have
apartment.
small kids in the whole neighborhood. I said, look, you living here is not conducive to a, tenant-landlord relationship.
You charged that Mr. Beelan asked you to leave the apartment because you claim that he found out that your ex-husband was HIV positive.
Yeah. I told him that he was HIV positive. His hands flew up in the air and said, oh, now I really want you out.
Mr. Beelan?
This never happened. Whatever conversation she's talking about didn't happen with me.
He's lying,
okay?
Your Honor.
Your Honor, I have a police report. She told me she moved in, that she just came to Bain when I rented the apartment. I have a police report from 5 days prior when she was arrested for smoking PCP. I have the police report right here if you'd like to sing out. Those are pictures on the top of my hallway.
Can I see them also, Your Honor?
Yes,
because I would like to see them.
I don't have pictures of the apartment because it took me like 2 months. I couldn't rent it.
I am not convinced, Ms. O'Rourke, that Mr. Beelan was motivated by the fact that your ex-husband was ill. I do find it credible evidence, though, from the landlord's perspective, that he had reason to believe that there was drug abuse on the property, and as a landlord, he has the legal right to ask any tenant to move from the property if he suspects that. He then returned the $1,000 of the $1,300 that you had paid. And therefore, I'm going to dismiss your claim against the landlord for $2,000 in this situation. If there's nothing further, we will stand adjourned.
Thank you, Your Honor.